Hello, Sandy Rogers here. Welcome to the Ace Dog Vlog, where I get to yammer on about whatever I want. It's my favorite part of the week. This week, I'm in the middle of writing an article for Beowulf magazine. It's an online magazine. And does that still make it a magazine? I like the thought of magazines. I kind of miss them, but it's a great publication and they do great things. It's a volunteer gig, and check them out, Beowulf. I'm writing about exercise. Their issue this month is health and well-being for dogs. And if you got a healthy dog, it's going to help you be healthy too. Did you know that? Focusing on health is a good thing. So I'm picking up the exercise piece because it's personal to me. Wow, I just went a little deep myself in my little psyche there. Yeah, longevity, keeping our dogs alive longer, living longer, being able to move longer, go on walks, both of us, saving on vet bills. The article that I started talks about that more dogs end up in shelters because of behavioral problems than any other reason, and doing years and years of behavior work, helping folks with problematic behaviors, whether they be with the mailman or the weave poles. I've learned a lot, and I used to say triple the exercise and call me in the morning. So many issues. The piece was that the dog wasn't getting enough exercise, and then for how long? What does that do to a dog's brain? And then there's the type of exercise. So if you have a high drive, over aroused dog that is getting its exercise by running up and down the fence, reacting to cars and skateboards and other dogs, that dog is going to become an adrenaline junkie. And rehab is going to be hard. Folks want to fix dogs after they have gotten addicted to the adrenaline rushes. Anybody that has any experience with addiction in their families or their lives has got to understand that. So I'll hear people say, well, he gets a lot of exercise. He's in the backyard all day. And it's like, oh, crapola, we're exercising muscles, but we're setting the brain on fire. So proper exercise and the right type of stimulation for the right type of dog. The other side of that coin is sometimes I'll see folks out jogging with a pug, which scares me just as badly as the herding breed running the fence, because that dog is doomed too, because his little joints and his little breathing apparatus wasn't designed for that. So know your breed and know the difference between physical and mental exercise. I remember when I was going to get my first border collie for the sport of agility, I lived in a very tiny apartment in San Francisco with lots of leash laws. And I was extremely concerned about how much exercise. I worked a full-time job, and I had a small competition terrier that I was able to keep exercised and fit. And I'll talk more about ways to stimulate dogs. Let's just do it now. No time like the present. So with Rasta, my little border terrier, and these games will work for big dogs too, hide and seek. So I would hide her favorite ball. This enhanced her sit stay because she'd be on a sit stay, or she'd be on a wait there on the couch, and I'd hide her bally, and she would find it. This is a beautiful even keeled mental and physical way to exercise. So the bigger the house, the better, clearly, but you can get quite creative in a small space. Most people have a door on their bathroom. So, and, putting your bolly up on shelves and places where the dog can get to it can be very mentally, and it's one of the best ways. Also, exercise equipment. There's something called a VersaDisc, and it's made for people. It's got little bumpies on one side, and it's blue, and they come in all different sizes, and you balance on it. It's about this high and about this big. Some are smaller. And there's a website called FitPaws, FITPAWS. They sell this type of exercise equipment for dogs. It's the same as for people. It's just for dogs. And then Clean Run, CLEANRUN, it's cleanrun.com. They sell all kinds of exercise equipment that you could use in a bedroom. The cool thing about using this type of stuff is you're training too, and you're building your bond. And it's mental and physical. So you're manipulating your, becoming a better trainer through manipulating your rate of reinforcement. How many cookies, how few cookies does it take to keep my dog still loving to be on the VersaDisc? Placement of reward. How can I reward the head position if I'm wanting a sit versus a stand versus a down on the VersaDisc? And then the type of reward. If I'm using kibble that tastes like a cardboard box, my dog may rather go lay on the couch. If I'm using hot dogs or cheese, my dog may be spinning like a maniac, especially if he hasn't had any food that day and unable to think. So you get to become a better trainer by constantly being aware of your rate of reinforcement, placement of reinforcement, and the value, how good it tastes. If you're using a toy, is that a toy that your dog loves to work for, and it's produces a level-headed, engaged student canine? Or is it, I want the ball, I want the ball, I want the ball, I can't think or breathe or concentrate if I can see a ball? So you get to play with those things based on your dog's current mental state. This is all in the name of exercise. So, and then when you're out, those are my tips for indoor exercise. People always say, but it was raining. I'll be like, oh my gosh, have you worked on your training? No. And he's out of his mind because he hasn't been out of the house in 3 days. I'm like, I got 2 words for you: Gore-Tex and a flashlight, honey. You get off at 5 and it's dark. Those reflective dog vests are available. You can get reflective dog vests, and being out in the rain with your dog can be pretty cool if you just breathe into it a little bit and count your blessings while you're doing it. So depending on the dog that you decided to adopt or you decided to buy, meeting those exercise requirements are the same. That's care. That's basic core care. And you're kind of on the hook for it. More work outside. So just throwing the ball is good for joints and bones as long as it is. If you've got healthy joints and bones and a relatively young, athletic, fit dog, throwing that ball with the chuck it could be just fine. But sometimes I see folks throwing the ball for the Labrador that looks like he's been on the couch. Weekend warrior stuff applies to dogs, you guys, like it does to us. If you take your old, heavy dog to the park once a week and use that chuck it endlessly, you're running the risk of spinal injuries. Yes, I do recommend health insurance, but I also recommend not having to use it because you're making wise choices. I believe my sport is agility, and I believe that it benefits things like tendons and muscles and joints at us to a certain age. And then I don't think those activities benefit quite so much. I think long hiking with gradual hill change will benefit my dogs in their senior years. I have a friend who keeps her dogs fit on a treadmill. And we all know, boy, is there any doctor or veterinarian that doesn't think that swimming's a good gig? So I think what we're talking about now officially is a fitness plan. And I like the ones that have brains involved. So I'll have a video. I shoot lots of video of my dogs in the woods. I teach my dogs are log junkies. That's LOG, log junkies. They see logs and they run to them because there's high value. We go back and forth. They've learned how to turn on the log, and we both are laughing as they try to get to the narrow part and turn. And yeah, I got to be careful. It's not too high off the ground, but that jumping off and jumping back on and trying to get their footing. And guess what? They're doing that while other dogs are passing. So they're engaging with me more by interacting with the environment. I use curbs, same way. If I'm in the city, can they balance on the curb or the edge of a short wall? Again, I'm not working with a safety net here. So whenever your training involves physical activity, you're killing a lot of birds. You're bonding, you're helping your time together be way more beneficial. That's not to say have it all. That's not to say that there isn't huge value in walking with a dog and letting that dog sniff. They need to sniff. So if you're a power walker, maybe you can power walk a couple of blocks, let the dog sniff a block, power walk a couple of blocks, sniff a block. If you are a jogger with a dog or a biker with a dog, I just have to say I worry a lot. I've known folks that seem to be doing it with so much care and concern for their dog's health and well-being. They get those hips x-rayed. They know that their dog is sound. They have a routine that allows for the breaks. But I strongly encourage anyone that is hiking or jogging with their dog to have regular fitness, chiropractic, acupuncture. Those dogs are rising to a level of athleticism that requires that type of care, in my opinion. I do worry about the dogs that are most apt to want to jog and be on with bikes are also the dogs that are more what we call biddable. They don't say no, they go along with the program. And I've had folks say to me, I know my dog would tell me if he didn't want to do that. And I've certainly had dogs tell me when they need my help because they're uncomfortable. But in my sport and in the decades that I've been in it, I have seen dogs with severe chronic or acute conditions that never showed it. So I do know for a fact that the fact that a dog is still willing to run does not mean always that he should be. Be careful, learn about it from somebody that knows more about it than I do, but don't just think that that it's a great idea. Do your homework, do your research, and talk to your veterinarian. I'm Sandy. My business is called Ace Dog Sports, and love to talk fitness with dogs, love dog sports, and hope that this inspires you. And like all vlogs, I really hope that it gives you inspiration to learn a lot more. I hope there was something that I said that will make you want to do something fun with your dog, like exercise. Thanks. Bye-bye.